Welcome to Mom Talk, where we talk all things mompreneur, the joys, the struggles, and everything in between. Today, we have Tracy Beavers, our visibility and list growth strategist. I love Tracy. I've known her for a while, and I'm so actually humbled to have her with us today. So we're
Aw.
going to jump right in because you guys know me, Maureen Doss, the virtual workhorse. And so, Tracy, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got started, and we'll just go from there. It's just a casual conversation. I love for this just to be, like we're just having a coffee chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
A fun fact, I hired Maureen. She is one of my awesome team members and really keeping me
You're so
going.
sweet.
So
You're so sweet.
I'm excited to be here and so excited to have you helping me with my business.
Yeah.
So I am Tracy Beavers. I am a business and sales coach from Little Rock, Arkansas, and I help online entrepreneurs navigate social media in a way that feels good to them, ramping up their visibility, but not in a spammy way, not exhausting them, but getting them more and more visible on social media so they can reach their ideal clients and pull them onto their email list and have more leads and more conversations in the DMs.
Right.
I'm also a wife and a mom. Like you, our children are grown. Emily's
Hmm.
26 and Jack is 22. I had to think for a second. He just turned 22. Um, I am so proud of both of those children for the
Yeah.
people that they are. D- John and I are both like, wow, how did we do that? Those are
Right.
pretty good kids. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think one thing, like when you are, you have children that are older and people are like, oh, it gets so easy. And you're like, no, they really kind of need you just as much.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like not quite as much.
Just different.
Yes, different. It's like when they're little, they're physically needy and
Right.
exhausting. Like,
Hmm.
you're feeding them, you're dressing them, you're bathing them, that's
Hmm.
physically taxing. And then
Right.
when they get into teenagerhood, it's like more mentally taxing. And
Right.
now that they're young adults, there's this, it's like, oh, okay, you could really screw some stuff up. You've got your
Yeah.
own money, you've got a car, you've got a college degree, you've got, it's like, okay, the problems are just
Yeah.
bigger adult, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Exactly.
it's not
Yeah.
as physically taxing, but it's mentally
It's just different. Yeah. And you're right. I think that's a whole different show, right? Yeah,
right.
yeah. So tell me, what were you doing before? Because I know you were doing something before you became the visibility and list growth strategist. What did
Yeah.
that look like? And when did you make a transition into what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I grew up in the generation where you go to high school and you graduate, you go to college and you graduate and you get a job
Right.
and you don't job hop because back then it was not the thing. That's how
Right.
old I am.
Yeah.
And so you get the job and you're thankful for it, even if you hate it,
Right. Me
and
too.
you stick it you stick it out for 40 years and then you get a retirement party with a cake, a gold watch, a pension,
Yeah.
right? None of those things are
You work your
things.
way up the ladder and
Right.
yeah.
Right. But what ended up happening for me, I never thought I would leave corporate. I mean, I was going to be vice president of all things important. But about 7 years ago, I realized, so I knew, okay, so I had an over 20-year career in marketing, sales, and business development.
Right.
And I knew I didn't have control over my time because
Hmm.
it's corporate. They
Right.
make the rules. You get a 1 hour lunch, you get so much PTO, so much sick time. But I felt like I had control over my money because I was in a sales role and I had a commission structure.
Okay.
No, I
Right.
didn't.
Right.
And I found this out about 7 years ago. I was working for a CEO who brought me over to his company because he had seen my track record and he wanted to gain market share. And I gained market share for him 86% the first year I was there. And then the
Right.
second year I was on track to gain another 38, 40, I don't know what. And he actually, now this is not the words he said, but this is
Right.
what he meant. He didn't
Right.
think I was going to be that successful. And he felt like he was paying me and the other people in the sales department too much. And so he was going to rewrite the commission structure.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the new contract and I was
Yeah.
like, what in the world? I read it and I thought, oh my
Right.
stars, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have true control over my money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat there for a little bit and I thought, well, I can't work for him. And then I was
Right.
like, well, okay, Tracy Beavers, what are you going to do? Because your dad made entrepreneurship look terrible
Right.
and you've always been in corporate. And so anyway, fast forward, long story short, I was in a women's mastermind at the time. It was based on personal development. It wasn't business related.
Yeah.
And the gals in my small group knew me really well and they knew what I
Yeah.
was going through. And they were like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I need to work for myself, but what do I do? And they go, well, everybody's always asking you for help growing their businesses. How are you so successful in sales? How is sales so easy for you? You need to do that. And I was like, what do you mean? I mean, Maureen, I'm in Arkansas. We're slow on the trend. And they said, you need to be a business and sales coach. And I was like, that's a thing?
Yeah. Right.
And they were like, yeah, that's a thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, all right, whatever. And so I started doing some research on it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a thing. So I started building it alongside my corporate job. I,
Yeah.
I quit that job and I got another corporate job that had paid a
Right.
little bit less money, but was a little less stress.
Right.
And then as my business began to grow, I used to like a step down approach where I took a
Yeah.
lesser role and a lesser role and a lesser role until I could
Right.
fully leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, here I am.
That's amazing. And that's, so many of those things resonate with me because I remember when I started out as a virtual assistant almost 10 years ago, and I knew how to run businesses, right? Small
Yes.
businesses. That's what I had always done, but I'd never done it for myself.
Yeah.
And I was like researching and I was like, virtual assistant, like, this is a thing. Oh, people do this.
I love
know?
it.
So
Yeah.
that's great. And so I want to touch on the fact that you were in a mastermind with other women.
Yeah.
And the reason I want to touch on that is because I know about your mastermind and I know the importance of being in a community with
Yeah.
other women
Hmm.
and having that community. And so tell me what that meant to you.
Yeah. It was really what I needed at the time.
Uh-huh.
I just didn't realize how impactful it was going to be for me.
Yeah.
It's not the mastermind that I have now. The one you're
Right. No,
familiar
no,
with
no.
is for my alums, but this one was local and it was
Right.
started by, I think there was 3 or 4 gals that put it together
Right.
and they each had their zone of genius and
Right.
it was like a 6-month commitment and we had books we would read and curriculum and all that.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, do I need this? I don't know about this. I was like, I don't want to talk about my feelings all the
Mm.
time. I mean, I don't mind sharing stuff, but I don't want to be like, "Ugh." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I thought it was going to be one of those things where they're that crack you wide open and, they're pulling out your heart and they're rearranging, that kind of stuff. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, I don't know about this, but I ended up enjoying it very, very much.
Mhm.
And we were all in there for different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. But
So,
having
I
that
mean,
community, I think, is important. And I
it
think
is.
it sounds like they helped give you that little push to
They did.
go
I
out
mean,
on your own.
I think being in a community is so important because,
Mhm.
and I was just having this conversation with my guest today that was on my live, Scott Ferguson. He's a,
Mhm.
mindset coach.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how people get stuck in obligation and he helps them see their options in their life. But the question he asks them is, what do you really want?
Oh, I love that.
And I think we forget being in a community reminds you, it's like a mirror reflected back to you of your strengths,
Right.
also some of your weaknesses. But we forget how great we are.
Right.
We forget our possibility.
Right.
And when you have other people around you that, like they were saying to me, Tracy, and I'm like, but everybody's good at sales because I thought so because it was easy for me. And
Right.
they're like, no, it's not. Everybody's
Right.
terrified of sales. And I'm like, what?
Right.
And so they help. Being in a community helps you and helps you help other people see the best in themselves and where they help them discern where they need to go. And then those
Definitely.
people can help you too. So I think it's just really beautiful.
Yeah, I do too. So tell me, during that time, your kids, so this would have been 6, 7 years ago,
Yeah.
your kids
Yeah.
still would have been, especially your younger one, he still would
Yeah.
have been in high school, right?
They both were. Emily was
Yeah.
high school and Jack was middle school.
Okay.
And they played every sport that had a ball.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, we were busy. And
So, yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy. Right. Right. I mean, true. So were you fearful? I can't do this. I'm too busy.
yeah. I
Yeah.
did. And I had to ask myself, I really had to ask myself, how bad do you want it?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, do you want to stay here in corporate, working for somebody else,
Right.
no control over your time?
Mm.
And now, come to find out, not a whole lot of control over my money. That could be taken away,
Oh yeah.
and then, and yeah. So I really had to ask myself, what do you want the future to look like? And
Mm.
I knew I could always go get another job.
Yeah.
I knew that. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, if the worst happens and this thing doesn't take off and nobody wants to hire me as coach, I'll go get a job.
Right.
But if
Right.
I didn't try it, I knew that I would be looking in the rearview mirror all the time going, what could have been?
Mhm.
And I didn't want to put it off because I'm not a patient person, Maureen.
Yeah.
I had really lost my zest for corporate and it was
Mhm.
I was starting to get irritated. I needed to do it then. I
Mhm.
really did. And so I juggled it and I talked to my family about it. My husband was on board. What he was not going to be on board with is me quitting my full-time job. And I
Right.
totally understood that because we're a two income household
Right.
and we were heading into a very expensive time with the kids, cars, prom, college. I
Hmm.
mean, my gosh.
Yeah.
And so I never even said to him that I want to quit my full time because I knew I needed that money coming in to help
Right.
me, not freak out as a business
Of
coach.
course.
So yeah, it was tough, but I talked to them about it. And also John said, because he knows my personality, he said, okay, I don't want our retirement to be derailed. I want to stay on track for that. And
Mhm.
he's like, I also don't want you consumed with this 24/7 where we don't get to see you.
Right.
And I was like, that's fair. So I had to set some boundaries around my time. Like they
Yeah.
knew if mom was going to work Monday night for 2 hours, they knew mom was not going to work Tuesday night. I was all theirs,
Right. Right.
And so as long as I think what helped us is I looked for pockets of time where nobody was going to need me. Like
Yeah.
if they were at a practice or they were out with their friends or they were doing a
Hmm.
study night somewhere or, they were all sleeping in on Saturday morning till noon.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, it worked out.
Yeah. I think that's key. And that's something that I've always kind of leaned into, even with work. Like, when you're not building a business, when you're working a full-time job, I think
Hmm.
having those boundaries with and expectations with, especially if your kids are younger too, like,
Hmm.
okay, I'm working, during this time, like
Hmm.
communication.
Yes.
Sounds like you guys had really good communication too. So
Yeah.
having that is and setting those boundaries is key
Hmm.
to building a business, I think,
Yeah.
especially
It
at
also
home.
it also helped me because I didn't want to be building this 24/7.
Oh gosh, no.
And so it was helpful to me to look and go, okay, I'm going to work for Monday night for 2 hours, but then
Mhm.
I'm not working on Tuesday, you
Yeah,
know? And so that helped me too.
right. Yeah, and I think there are people that are okay
Hmm.
working 24/7, and I think if that's the way that they want to live, then that's okay for them.
Yeah, for sure.
But I've always been one of those people where even when I was building my business, because I wasn't also working a full-time job,
Yeah.
that I wasn't working in the evenings, I wasn't working on the weekends,
Nice.
unless something came up, but I still had those boundaries, right?
Hmm.
And I made them clear with my clients as well, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So I think setting those expectations is really a really good thing to do.
Yeah.
So when you decided to do that, what was your offer? What
Hmm.
was, because I know you have your Facebook group,
Right.
you have your mastermind, you have your BVME
Hmm.
group. And so was it always that, or
No.
how long did it take you to find the groove of what you do?
Oh my gosh, it took me probably 2 years
Yeah,
if I'm really thinking about it.
right.
Because it took a year and a half for me to get out of the corporate job.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, what I was doing was local,
Okay.
and it was one-to-one sessions,
Okay.
and I sold packages of sessions. Like I literally did not know what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean,
What I knew
trial and
for sure.
error, right?
Yeah, for sure. What I knew for sure is I wanted to help people build their businesses, look at their marketing, help them with sales,
Right.
email list growth, client retention, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I'm just going to jump in and I'm just going to put together a framework and put a price on it and go.
Yeah.
And I did. And
Yeah.
then it evolved into the online space. A couple of years in, I became familiar with Amy Porterfield and I started to follow her
Okay.
and learned about the power of online courses and programs and having a global audience.
Right.
And I thought, wow, okay, that sounds really exciting.
Mhm.
And so I, you know, decided to, the first course I built, I did not do it the right way. I
Mhm.
did not do as much market research as I should have. I just
Right.
built something I thought people would want. A few people bought it, but not anybody really wanted it. You know what I mean? I just didn't do it the right way. And then as my work continued to evolve in the online space, I realized that I had a lot of clients and students coming to me and saying, Tracy, I've built this awesome thing, this awesome offer,
Mhm.
but nobody's buying it. And I go, okay, well, tell me about your email list. Well, I don't really have one. Well, tell me about your audience. You know, do you have any friends, followers, whatever online? No,
Right.
not really. Are you having conversations with people? Are you networking? Are you collaborating? Are you, no, I'm not really doing that. And I'm like, okay, we have a major gap here, people.
Mhm.
You know, they put the cart before the horse.
Right. Yeah.
And now we've got to go back and we've got to do the foundational work of building them an audience, making sure their marketing messaging is on target, making sure they're being consistent enough on social to get the algorithm favor,
Mm.
to get the attraction of their ideal client.
Right.
You know, and so that's how I evolved into being a visibility and list growth strategist.
I love that.
Thanks. And Business Visibility Made Easy,
Yeah.
BVME, my 8-week group coaching program was born because I had 2 really expensive failed attempts with paid ads.
Yeah. Okay.
And I knew I needed to grow my list. All the list growth coaches that I followed told you to identify your ideal client and create a free lead magnet and put it out on social media.
Mhm.
So I did that and my list was growing, but I wanted out of corporate. And I was like, okay, there's got to be other ways to gain visibility and grow a list. And so I just got really creative and mapped out 10 different strategies, everything from dialing in your Facebook personal profile as a list built as a list growth funnel, an actual thing that will grow your email list, to if you want to have a free Facebook group, how that can grow your list, navigating other people's free groups, all the things that I teach in Business Visibility Made Easy
Mhm.
came out of that frustration of, well,
Right.
paid ads was a major fail and expensive. And
Right.
how many, I don't need another free lead magnet. I've got several, you know.
Right. Right.
So that's how it evolved.
Yeah. And I love how your audience really came to you with what their problem was, even though they didn't know what it was.
Right.
They were like, I have this. It's
Right.
perfect. It's what I want to offer, but I don't have anyone to offer it to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, where are the people?
Right. You need to find some people. And it's different
People.
in the online space. You know, I came into this space a little cocky, quite
Yeah.
frankly, because I'm highly educated. I had an award-winning sales career.
Hmm.
You know, I'm used to, like you, I'm used to mastering things quickly
Right.
and producing and being proficient. Well, what language was everybody speaking when I got here? Like Kajabi, funnel,
Right.
lead, landing page, lead. I was like, Canva. I did not know how to use Canva.
Right.
I hadn't used Zoom very much because I hadn't needed to. I didn't have a calendar scheduling link. People
Right.
would people would say to me, "Well, can you just send me your link?" And I go, "You know what? I don't have one of those. I'm a paper planner kind of gal. Let's pick out some dates." And
Yeah.
then they'd go, "Can you send me a calendar invite?" And I go, "You know what? I don't use that either." It's just like I had so much to learn.
Yeah.
But I dove in and I was determined to do it. But
Right.
yeah, it was an evolution.
Exactly. But you know what? I love that you did it and you didn't just keep waiting for everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think so many people are like, I'm just going to wait. I've got to get all my links ready. I've got to get a calendar ready. I've got to
Nope.
figure it all out before I can make this work. And you were just like, nope, I've got to get out of corporate. I've got to make it work. And it's messy, but I'm
Yeah.
going to do it.
It was really messy. Like
Yeah.
I didn't want to have a website because tech is not my love language. And so I avoided having a website for 18 months
Mhm.
until finally I was like, okay, I've got to have something. And I bought Kajabi and built what I thought was an okay website. It was horrible. It was
Yeah.
absolutely horrible. And I'm so glad, like 2 or 3 years ago, I did a complete overhaul on the website. So it's nice now. But I mean, there for a while, it was not good. And yeah, I mean, yes, to what you're saying, if we all wait for things to be perfect,
Mhm.
we're never going to get there. It's like waiting to have a baby until you can afford it.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
it,
Never.
no, not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. I love that. And so what are things look like for you today? What are your 5-year goals? What
Yeah.
what does that look like for you?
Well, I try not to set 5-year plan visions because I feel like for me that's too far down the road.
Yeah.
So I like to work in like one or 2 year increments. And
Yeah.
so this year when 2025 started, I was like, okay, I need more visibility.
Hmm.
I need more list growth myself.
Hmm.
And I wanted to get in more rooms. So I set a
Right.
goal this year of being on more podcasts,
Right.
doing more collaborations, doing more networking, and hiring people like you that
Hmm.
can come alongside me and do some automations and some admin
Oh,
stuff so that I can be the front facing person of the
right.
business and have that
Right.
time. And that's worked out really, really well. I have started speaking on more stages. I used to do that when I was in corporate, and then the pandemic hit and nobody was
Mhm.
leaving their house. And
Right.
but I'm hoping to get on some more stages and just continue to help online entrepreneurs and
Yeah.
give them the attention that they deserve in a
Right.
program.
Exactly.
Um, part of I, this because we work together, but Business Visibility Made Easy, it's an 8-week group coaching program. And part of what makes it so different is the very high attention that I give to every single student.
Hmm.
It is as close to working with me one to one as you're going to get. I
Right.
answer every question. If you post in the student group, I
Right.
swoop in and I answer the question. What I mean? I'm
Right.
there.
Right.
And that also developed because I was hearing over and over again from my colleagues in the online space and clients that would come to me that they were tired of being in big programs full of thousands of people where
Right.
they couldn't get their questions answered and they felt like a number. And I was like, well, okay, I can fill that need,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
But
anyway,
I almost like I love one-to-one coaching. Like I think there's a time and there's a need for that.
yeah,
But I almost love the community and the group because you can almost, what you learn from the other people in there as well is
hmm
almost as valuable as what you can learn.
hmm
Even though what they can learn from you is, hands down amazing and what they're there for.
yeah,
But the value that they can get from the other members, I think, is almost just as valuable. While it's going to be different from what they're going to learn from you. But I
yeah,
feel like we come into these groups and these masterminds that we join, right? And everybody's at a different place in their business
right,
and they're all struggling with something different. And as we come in there and we post our questions or concerns or where we're stuck at, and you're like, oh, they've been through that already, and maybe they're posting something that's helping us,
yeah,
or, we're just learning from other people that have
hmm
gone through it or going through what we go through. So I
hmm
just am such a big proponent on masterminds and group coaching where you can
yeah,
also have that community. So I love that
yeah.
you do that.
Thank you.
I
It
think,
is very fun to watch the students help each other.
yeah,
And it is very fun to for them to feel the energy in the room.
yeah.
It's hard to describe,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So tell me, so what do your kids think of what you've accomplished?
That's a good question. Well, my son is my podcast manager, which is
Yeah,
fun.
that's
And
awesome.
I mean, I think they're proud of me. Um,
What do
yeah.
you want them to say about you, like down the road? What do you want them to be
Oh gosh.
that you,
I would love for them to say, Mom didn't quit.
yeah.
Mom worked hard.
Mhm.
Um, Mom helped a lot of people.
Mhm.
And Mom made possibility where there didn't look like there was any.
Yeah, I think for you and for so many other people too, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the easy way would have been for you to just stay in your corporate job and
hmm
come home and I think it's like you said, like it was our generation. I
Mhm.
feel that, we were supposed to follow like that path to stay in corporate and just, go up the ladder and be happy and then get our
Right.
retirement cake and
Yeah. Don't rock the boat.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
take your little raise and your
Yeah.
cubicle and your, all that and be happy. Yeah.
So I love that you followed your own path and your
Thanks.
dreams. Yeah,
Thank you.
and now that you're helping others do that, because I know one thing I want to touch base on real quick is that some of the women that come into your group, they
Hmm.
have corporate jobs or they have full-time jobs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they do. And what I'm finding is correct. Yes. A lot of them do work 9 to 5 job. But what I'm also finding is that we all have a version of a 9 to 5.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is some of the women that are they're not working outside the home, but they may have little kids at home. That's their
Okay.
9 to 5. Or
Right.
they may be a caregiver for an aging parent. That's their
Oh,
9 to 5.
true.
And so and I share this with the ones that are working 9 to 5 because they get so frustrated. They
Mm,
just like I got frustrated trying to build this business,
right.
wondering I couldn't run as fast as everybody else around me,
Right.
and I wondered if it was ever going to work, and I couldn't
Right.
give it as much time as I wanted,
Right.
and
Okay.
that's super frustrating. But what
Okay.
I want to help them understand is that it truly doesn't matter if you work outside the home or not. We all have some sort of 9 to 5
Mm.
that we're building alongside of. It's just some of
I
us
love how
might
you
have a
say
little bit
that.
more time than others. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You're right. I love that because you're right. And there are like I feel like our generation, they call us
Mhm.
the sandwich generation
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
some of us still have kids at home or young adult kids, and we also have aging parents that a lot of us have to take care of. And so you're right. We do, a lot of people in that age range do have
Hmm.
parents they're taking care of. But I love how you say that because I've never really thought of it like that. How they may not be out working a 9 to 5, but they
Right.
may have something that they're doing that is taking away from them wanting to build their business.
Yeah.
And they're not able to put as much effort or time into it. So
Right.
I like how you say that.
Thanks.
Amazing. So
Thanks.
what would you say would be a tip that you would give to other moms that are trying to build their business?
So I like to say that patience and consistency
Mm,
are the wonder twins of business growth,
mm,
and
yeah.
really with anything in life.
Yeah.
But truly, it's neither of these things are sexy. Neither one. Nobody wants
Right.
to be patient. And consistency is tough on days when you just don't. I have weeks I don't feel like doing another live training. I go, I go live every Thursday at 11:30, and I have weeks where I'm like, I do not want to do this. Nope, I do not.
Right.
But but I have to be consistent. Otherwise, if I'm not patient,
Mhm.
let me back up. If I'm not consistent with my efforts, then the business isn't going to get that momentum and that traction and that forward motion. And then if I'm not patient, I run the risk of not giving it enough time to work.
Mhm.
And one of the things that frustrates me about the online space is that it looks really easy.
Mm.
There's a lot of marketing messaging out there that
Mm.
basically says, come into the online space, build a course, put it out there, and people will buy it. Um,
Right.
no, this is a
Yeah.
business. This
Yeah.
is a business, and there's going to be expenses, and there's going to be frustrations, and there's going to be things you have to learn. And it is going to take you, most businesses, especially like brick and mortar businesses, are not truly profitable for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And in the online space, you can get to profitability faster because your overhead is lower, but it still takes sometimes 1 to 2 years. And that's the part nobody talks about.
Right.
And I just had a student that I did a one-to-one with yesterday, and she was really down. I always ask him to email me what are the 1 to 2 things you want to talk about so I can start to process in my head, how
Right.
I
Right.
can help him best.
Right.
And I read her email, Maureen, and I'm like, oh, she's on the verge of throwing this whole thing in.
Right. Right.
She basically said, I don't know if this is going to work. Well, what happened was she started the business in 2020.
Mhm.
She wasn't really growing it, wasn't being consistent with it. 2023 came along, she parked it. 2024, she parked it. She
Mhm.
didn't pick it back up until last November 2024. But then it took her till May of this year, just 60 days ago, to truly figure out who she wanted to serve, how, and her marketing messaging.
Right,
And
right,
so when I pointed out to her, I said, you really just started your business about 60 days ago.
right,
And I said, I don't want you to think the last few years have been a waste of time because they haven't. They've gotten you where you are now,
right,
but you can't beat yourself up that your business hasn't grown and you can't think there's something wrong with you
right.
when you've just given it 60 days to really tell people
Mhm.
who you are and how you can serve them and how they can hire you.
Yeah,
And when I pointed that out, she was like, wow.
yeah,
She was like, okay,
yeah,
I haven't given it long enough.
yeah. I can't tell you, and you know this, but for any moms out there, to have an outside voice
Hmm.
say things like that to you, how much that means. And so, even, for Tracy or from anybody, you know, I just had someone, a good mentor of mine say something just similar like that to me for something that I thought I had been building on
Hmm.
for probably a year or more. But really, when it came down to it, I really had only been building on something for about 3 months. And
Yeah.
you kind of helped me figure that out. And I was like, oh, yeah, and
Yeah.
to help have somebody come alongside of you like that to help you figure those things out and bring you back into perspective,
Yes.
is just
Yeah.
so important to have that person
Mhm.
alongside of you in your business. And if you need somebody like that, Tracy's your person. She
Thank
is
you.
great at doing that,
Thank
definitely.
you.
So, Tracy, I absolutely adore you. And you're so right. Building your list and your visibility is so important. I
Mhm.
think we all, when we start our business, we're like, what are we going to offer? Let's
Right.
build our course. Let's
Right.
let's create our products. And then we're like, now we need to find the people, but we need to
Right.
figure out who those people are and where they're at and get them build
Hmm.
up that list. So
Yeah.
definitely tell us where everybody can find you.
Yeah, thanks. And thank you for having me. I adore
You're
you
so
as well.
welcome.
Yeah, I just think there's a special parking space in heaven for you and
Oh,
people
you're
like you
so sweet.
that can come alongside somebody like me and untangle the mess. And like literally, when you send me an email, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, here we go, step one, step two, and I'm like, this is amazing. So yeah, I love it. So the great place to find me, since they apparently love podcasts because they're listening to this one. I
Yeah.
have a top ranked podcast called Create
Mhm.
Online Business Success.
Yeah.
And then also, I have a free Facebook group for online entrepreneurs, and we have close to 4,000. And the cool thing is, it's a true community, like we're talking about. The members can promote their offers when they want to. They are encouraged to actually DM each other and set coffee chats and network.
Yeah.
And we also let 2 members a month go live in the group to talk about their area of expertise and possibly sell their offers.
That's awesome.
So it's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur, Get Visible, Grow Your Email List and Your Income. And I would love for them to come join us.
Yes, and confidence is key. Along with those other two,
Mhm.
remind us again what your two tips were
Patience and consistency.
and consistency.
Mhm.
We should add confidence to that.
Yes.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for watching Mom Talk, where we talk about all the joys, the struggles, and the in between of being a mompreneur.